fact, Ray McGovern talked about George Mason and James Madison. Both of them went to Philadelphia and said, we have to put impeachment in the Constitution in case someday a president pardons a crime he had something to do with. So to imagine that they had any idea that the pardon power was going to include the very abuse for which they were creating the impeachment power is just plain nuts. It is so absurd that they didn't discuss it at all. It's so out of range of anything they had in mind. And we cannot be the ones to accept it. So we have to challenge, if that happens, and I hope it doesn't, we have to challenge it in court, and we have to challenge it in the court of public opinion and simply refuse to take it seriously. And pardons can be undone. We can call them real pardons, and we can ask Barack Obama to reverse them, but we should not consider them pardons at all if they happen. Now, what I said about Holder, the New York Times has said as well, that it will be very difficult for him to avoid prosecuting after what he said. And Mukasey has said it as well. He said, the reason I refuse to say the sky was blue, the reason I refuse to answer any of these questions, is because having done this, Holder has made it likely that people will be prosecuted. And this is a danger. This is a horrible danger to the future of our nation, because from now on, lawyers working for the president will worry about whether or not they legalize things that are actually crimes. Right? Would this be bad?
No.
Would this be a terrible? So this is the level of discourse that we have to change. When we talk about prosecution, the response in the media is, you want vengeance. You want revenge. I mean, this is the response you get from good-hearted progressive activists I know and love who disagree with throwing shoes at the White House. Oh, that's mean-spirited. You're vengeful. I tell you, and I know for a fact that this is from 99% of the people who have ever worked in this accountability movement from the bottom of my heart. If I could send George Bush off to drink and golf, and that would ensure that future presidents had to obey laws, then that is exactly what I would do. I do not wish the man any ill. I said 99, I didn't say Elaine.
Me either.
But the fact is that if we say you're free to go, there will be a future president. When we told Richard Nixon he was free to go, we guaranteed the presidency of George W. Bush. We tell George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and the rest of them they are free to go. We guarantee a worsening, not a repeat, but worse. Within the next 20 years, we guarantee significantly worse. Absolutely guaranteed. I mean, there is no disputing it. So here we are in a situation where we have a new president who's made all sorts of wonderful promises we can hold him to. And this is an advantage. And yet, he's barely said anything that I can stomach in the past few weeks. And yesterday said that George W. Bush made the best decisions anybody could have made in difficult circumstances.
No, he didn't.
So here is the danger. There's a danger now that we are going to have an announcement that torture is ending except in exceptional circumstances. That we're going to close Guantanamo, but not actually close it. That we're going to end the occupation of Iraq, but have an occupation still. That we're going to stop spying without warrants except when it's really called for. Right? And that we are going to cheer for this. And as amateur PR strategists are going to say, what a nice move that was to make that announcement. And so this is a moment to distinguish between actions and words. To say words are cheap. Right? Ray pulled out a McCain argument against torture. How many people think McCain opposes torture? Most people in this country, 90% of people in this country think McCain is a heroic opponent of torture. When Bush used a signing statement to throw out McCain's ban on torture, which was an outrage to begin with because torture was never legal, McCain was silent. When there was another bill to ban torture, McCain opposed it. When it passed anyway and Bush vetoed it, McCain cheered for the veto. And he was then given an award by Time magazine and one of the heroic senators of the year for his fight against torture. And everyone believes that. We have to be informed, and we have to notice the difference between rhetoric and action. And we have to hold our government to action. Talk is very, very cheap, and we have to set an example, as everybody in this room I know is doing, as we're going to do tomorrow, 11 a.m. at DuPont Circle. Bring your shoes. We are going to march to the White House. We are going to throw shoes, not in any mean-spirited, vengeful sense. We are going to join in solidarity with a man who said, in the language of the world's media, in 10 seconds, more than the New York Times has said in 10 years. We are going to throw shoes because it brings the television cameras of NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, CNN, and the rest of these dog-like creatures who come when you throw shoes, and we are going to attempt to insert some substance in their coverage. 30 seconds. I'll leave you with this point. Bush is leaving office one of the most despised human beings on the planet, with 22% of the public, including the president-elect, approving of his behavior. The idea that prosecuting him would lose you some magical thing called political capital is absolutely absurd. We have to shut all of that out of our own minds and understand that anybody who does this will be incredibly more popular than they were before. That this is something the public is behind, as far to the extent imaginable. The public is behind this. So join us with your shoes tomorrow. Come to the front of the FBI building on Tuesday for the parade. If you bring a poster that says "Arrest Bush," that is your ticket. We have thousands of free tickets for the front of the parade for you. That's all you have to bring. If Barbara Cummings is still here and raises her hand, she has got with her tonight a supply of Arrest Bush sweatshirts that are very, very warm. You bring one of those, you don't need the sign. You wear the sweatshirt and you're in. You should buy one anyway. You should also buy, and if you have no money, I'll give it to you, the 35 articles of impeachment and the case for prosecuting George W. Bush. Here's Ann.
Wanting to say this
That's
for
right.
a long time.
Lock them up. Lock them up. Lock the bastards up and throw the key away. Far away. A few years down and get mowed. Then life in Abu Ghraib. Make sure their sorry asses never see the light of day. Think you got it? 2, 3, 4. Lock them up. Lock them up. Lock them up. Lock them up. Lock the bastards up and throw the key away. Far away.